Welcome back. It's time for some business. Now, based on her passionate belief that a lawyer needs some business skills to be able to monetize their certification, Busola Ajala has been engaging lawyers on the need to go beyond legal education. Now, see, she is a solution-oriented legal practitioner, a certified emotional intelligence specialist, and a business-minded professional. She's joining us this morning to talk to us about the business of law. I like that. You know, when you finish from law school, you're thinking, let me start my career, let me work in a chambers. So most lawyers do not really understand when it comes to business itself. They just think, let me just grow my career in a chambers and, you know, probably, hopefully, eventually get somewhere. So what are your thoughts on this? So
first, I tell lawyers that your law degree is your oyster. Like we said, the world is your oyster. Your law degree is your oyster. It's a platform you have already. It's a tool you have. You can be anything with it. You can do anything you want to do with your law degree because you have that license, your tool of, it's like your tool of trade. You know, it's with you and you can practice law. So I tell people that beyond the four walls of a law firm, a chamber, there's much more to being a lawyer. There's much more to what you can do as a lawyer. So you don't restrict yourself to just law practice within the four walls of a chamber or just about going to court or just about soliciting. There's a whole lot more you can do, you know, with that law degree you have, with that call to bar certificate you have, because being a law graduate is not, you won't qualify you, but the moment you go to law school, you pass through the law school, you are qualified, you are licensed, you're a full-fledged lawyer. So you can do anything, you can practice law. The experience, you will get it while on the journey. So it's good to go to the law firms to get some, you know, privilege and all of that. But if you do not have that time, or you don't have the luxury of, you know, getting a good chamber to work with, then you can start on your own.
Right, right. So I'm thinking about some of the things that lawyers typically, you know, when you start out in the business. So you're working under someone and you're building your career. But what are the areas that a young lawyer, you would say, what are the areas that you would feel you would ask them to focus on when they're starting out, apart from the fact that they're getting some training and mentorship? What are the areas where you would then say, okay, this is the specific areas for business that a lawyer should go into?
So for a young lawyer, I would say, the moment you are called and you have a bit of business intelligence, you're business savvy, there are a lot of areas you can focus on. But the most important, the most visible one that a lot of them are quick to jump at is, you know, the CAC, incorporation of, you know, businesses, business name registration, incorporation of companies, tenancy matters, and all of that. But beyond that, there are also a whole lot of other areas they can focus on, because you're taught legal drafting, you know, at the law school. So you can also focus, you can major on, you know, drafting contracts for people. We have SMEs, we have, you know, small business owners going into businesses, going into partnership. They need agreements, they need service contracts to guide, you know, their relationship, their partnership with whatsoever partners, you know, they're going into business with. So you can also target the SMEs, and, you know, thankfully the social media is available to help now. So you can target the SMEs, service them well, help them grow their business, help them ensure that their businesses are legally, you know, protected. So those are other areas you can focus on, you know, giving advisory services to SMEs, to individuals also who are also into business and they need legal advice.
So talking about the business of law, because that's where our focus is. Sometimes lawyers seem to focus on the books and, you know, focus on what they have learned.
Absolutely.
And they're not really understanding money or understanding finances or accounting and all of that. So sometimes a lawyer is having a discussion with someone about wanting to do like maybe a contract for them, and they don't have like a fixed rate. What would you recommend in the area of a lawyer understanding finances and accounting?
So one thing deficiency we have in our legal education curriculum is the fact that we're not exposed to the heart of doing business. There's really no mention of, you know, business, finances, and even if you check some of our laws, when it comes to billings and charges for your professional fees, they're outdated, yeah? So a lot of us really do not understand finance and accounting. But I say, beyond legal skills, we need other skills, you know, to also work with. So it's important that you get basic, you know, financial accounting understanding. Understand, you know, what finances are. Know the figures. You don't need to dig deep into it, but the basics may be enough to help. So I tell people that you're a professional in law. Get professionals in other areas. You can collaborate with them. So you render legal service and they render financial service. You can do a trade by barter. So I'm consulting for you legally. You can also consult for me on the finance and accounting aspects of my law practice.
Well, what would you say? I know law as a profession is very conservative.
Very.
But there's a lot of lawyers now who are trying to do other things that are not based on the profession. So, for instance, I'm a lawyer, but I sell land. Or I'm a lawyer, but I sell cars, you know, things like that. So what would you say to people like that? Should they focus on the legal profession, or are they able to dabble into other areas of business to make money and, you know, get by?
The reason why most of us go into other areas of, you know, business apart from law, particularly for those who say they still want to remain lawyers, they still want to practice law, is because we feel that all the legal profession is not quite rewarding. You're not making so much money from it, and so you feel, oh, if I had, you know, if I have a side hustle, or if I had another thing to it, I could make more money. But if you watch it very well, most of those people who are practicing law and also doing other things, are they excelling very well in those other areas? Are they doing well in those other areas? Are they well remunerated in those other areas? It still boils down to you having business skills, being business savvy, being business oriented. Because the same way you're going to service your clients as a legal professional is the same way you would also service your clients in other
things.
Yes. So, but the basic is you having that business education, which our legal curriculum does not afford us that opportunity.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying that go out, get business understanding, get business education, acquire those skills. Legal skills are not enough. Advocacy skills are not enough. Particularly in the times we are in now, the business environments are changing. You know, there's a lot of disruption everywhere, and, you know, even for those who are also non-lawyers, everyone is upskilling. People are trying to get more skills, to be creative in other areas, and then adding that creativity to whatever field, you know, they operate in. So my you know, encouragement is to lawyers is beyond our legal skills. We are very skillful at our craft as lawyers. We know, you know, the principles of law. We're very good at it, but we need to learn how to monetize that skill.
So we're going to round off now. I just want to, is there something that you're doing to bring people together on this issues that you're talking about? Can you just give it to us just a few seconds? So
we have the Business of Law Conference coming up tomorrow, 9 a.m. at Moson Center, Onikon.
That's the Business of Law Conference. The
Business of Law Conference is the first of its kind in Nigeria. It's never been done before. And the reason, the essence is to steer something up within we lawyers, that though our profession has an aversion against commercialization, but notwithstanding, it's our primary source of livelihood. For those of us who practice it full-time, it's our primary source of livelihood. It's our craft. We need to learn how to monetize it. Because the practice of law is different. Then there's the business of law. How do you make money and stay profitable from this business? Because that's your primary source of livelihood, except if you want to run it as an NGO. And even for NGOs, they need money, they need funds to stay, you know, in business. All
right, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, it's the Business of Law Conference tomorrow at the Moson Center, 9 a.m. If you're a lawyer, you need to be there.